Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and the bombshells continue to drop from the ex-nanny of Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde. Who thought there was going to be a part 2? But this time she's dropped even more texts, and all the spotlight seems to be this time more on Olivia Wilde for abandoning her family, for clearly having this affair with Harry Styles while she was still with Jason Sudeikis, about giving her dog away so she could have more time with Harry. Plus, Olivia has responded regarding Saladgate. We got a lot to break down, so let's get to it. Before I even go down through this piece, I got to say, because it's going to be a lot more negative towards Olivia from the nanny, it's important you go back a week. What was this? Yeah, about 6 days ago. Olivia had done an interview with Elle magazine, and she really put out this narrative. And when I remember we were live and I was responding to it, it's like, who was going after her for abandoning her kids? I hadn't really seen that. That might have been something obviously assumed maybe from the divorce, etc. But it almost felt preemptive in a way. And now, as we go through this, it does sort of feel like the Daily Mail or someone must have gone to her and she knew this was about to come. It's how they were such a united front as this was breaking. It really feels like she knew a shoe was about to drop. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind as we read this, because it just feels like Olivia Wilde is very manipulative. I just got to say, based on the things I've seen, based on the video of Miss Poe, I'm just not a fan anymore based on how she acts. But let's go through what this ex-nanny. Now, again, alleged, we got to be careful, alleged, etc. But Jason and Olivia have confirmed this was their nanny. All right, so let's get to it. Second part of an exclusive interview with Daily Mail, the nanny told how Wilde's text voicemails to her estranged fiancé continued through November and December of 2020, but stopped after she was photographed in January 2021 with Styles at a wedding in Montecito, California. Wilde had left a heartbroken Sudeikis drunkenly ranting, "She left us to the children's nanny," after abruptly dumping him for the British pop star on November 8th. But then kept returning to the house and telling him she loved him in the weeks after the split, the insider reveals. The cozy messages and visits continued up until December 29th, when Sudeikis and the nanny flew to London. Wilde then went public with her new boyfriend Styles 5 days later. The nanny says she was floored by their debut as a couple, even though she had known about their romance and how brokenhearted Sudeikis was that Wilde was with somebody else. The nanny told Daily Mail, "When I saw Olivia holding hands as a couple with Harry in the news in January, I was shocked, as just a month before when we were in LA, she was sending Jason messages saying she loved him. Text message and voicemails he let me hear the voicemails and the text messages. Then Jason said she was just here at the house and she was naked in the pool and then she slept with me naked in the bed. She was sending him voice messages saying he was her everything. It was a lot of mixed messages. It was, how can this be? She was just in this relationship and now she's holding hands with a different person in front of everyone a month later. That was pretty shocking." At the same time, Wilde was so smitten with Styles, the nanny claims she even gave her dog Gordon away within weeks of meeting the British singer so she wouldn't be tied to taking care of it and would be free to have more time to spend with him. The nanny said she arranged for the golden retriever to live with Wilde's New York-based dog walker. After Wilde left in November 2020, she came for a visit and said, "We have to find Gordon a new home," nonchalantly. "Jason doesn't really care for animals, and I wanted him out of their home ASAP." Jason said Olivia had only had the dog for appearances anyway. She rarely cared for Gordon or Paco, the dog she had before. It was myself and others who cared for the dogs. I told Jason I knew somebody who loves Gordon and was willing to take him in. So Jason said, "Let's get him out of here right away." So these text messages are juicy. We're going to get to them in a second, but let's just keep going through the full report. Sudeikis then told the nanny that Wilde's need for the British heartthrob was like a drug addiction and complained that their therapist wasn't doing more to stop it. I mean, you can't really make your therapist stop it. Like, that's up to the person. But clearly he's distraught trying to solve things, and it was clearly a surprise. The nanny told Daily Mail what Jason said was that their therapist was feeding her crack, and Harry is her crack. That this was like an addiction she has. The therapist said to me, "Olivia is like an addict right now, so we have to treat her like an addict to get her back to the family. It's like having a drug addict come back to reality." Wilde's infatuation with Styles also left Sudeikis questioning her connection to reality, with the dad of two even describing her as a mess in a text exchange with the nanny. In one conversation, the nanny writes, "I sent a heart, but then I thought I shouldn't have. It's BS that she can't wait to see us all. She hasn't asked once how I'm doing. Anyway, I'm not a one to be manipulated or fake. I just can't believe she's living this life with Harry and hasn't said a word about it to me." Sudeikis replies, "She's embarrassed and not living in the real world, and we are part of that real world." In a second exchange, the nanny tells Sudeikis, "I honestly feel like she was just here with us as a family, and then within a day she moved on and in with someone else and is a stranger. It's just so bizarre." The Ted Lasso star replies, "This is what happened, and I think think how I feel after 9 years." Third conversation sees the pair called Wilde a mess, with Sudeikis adding, "I know she's a mess, a deeply hurting mess." But Sudeikis was also deeply hurt and was stunned by Wilde's sudden decision to end their engagement, even lying under the car to stop it from going under, to stop Stiles from following a row over salad dressing. We'll get to that in a second. According to the nanny, she and Wilde had a conversation a few days after an explosive fight in which the actress claimed her ex-fiancé was jealous. The nanny said, "Olivia and I sat down, and Olivia told me, 'Oh, we've been having some problems for a while.' I said, 'I never knew, and I never ever knew. I've never seen you guys get into an argument.'" Now, to be fair, just because she's there a lot, just because he's a nanny, that doesn't necessarily mean she knows what's happening in private. To defend Olivia and Jason here for a second, I'm trying. She said, "I don't want to burden you because you're so loving and such a bright light to our family." I could understand that. "I was caught off guard because I lived with them and was around them, and I never saw any of this happen." I said to Olivia, "Jason told me you're effing somebody." And she kind of rolled her eyes and looked the other way and said, "He's just jealous of me." She didn't deny it. She couldn't believe he'd told me that actually, nor could I. So this was the first time I let her know about Stiles. Infatuated, Wilde also made it clear that she had no intention of giving up Stiles and thought things would be better between her and Sudeikis following the split, even after the nanny told her that Sudeikis and the rest of the family had been left brokenhearted by her decision to leave. Again, people assume I abandoned my kids. She really wanted that out there in the press before this came out. Just remember that. The nanny explained Olivia wanted to believe things are going to be all good. I let Olivia know people are hurting right now. Your family, friends, Jason, the kids, and even me. I said, I'm brokenhearted for you all. I let her know, and she said, it's going to be better now. It's going to be good. She just thought everything would be so great, and they would co-parent. She added, Jason told me she was very concerned what people would think. She's very concerned what everybody thinks about her. When she and Jason started dating, she told Jason she really didn't want to tell anyone because she'd been used to dating all these other guys she could brag about. That made her look good. She didn't think Jason made her look that good, I guess. Even now with Harry, I really believe she's feeding off his fame to be relevant. She wasn't really that great as an actress or director. Jason called her mediocre. It's kind of like, okay, now she's in the spotlight, and Jason always said she wanted the spotlight. Now she gets the spotlight because of Harry's fame. Well, that spotlight's not going to last forever. In a joint statement, they did say, as parents, it's incredibly upsetting to learn that a former nanny of our two young children would choose to make such false and scurrilous accusations about us publicly. Her now 18-month-long campaign of harassing us, as well as loved ones, close friends, and colleagues, has reached its unfortunate apex. We will continue to focus on raising and protecting our children with the sincere hope that she will now choose to leave our family alone. So what do you think about all this? Do you believe the nanny? Do you believe Jason and these texts? Let's go through them, shall we? There's the sad dog that she gave away. She just, I guess, walked around for some paparazzi shots is what this nanny's claiming. This is the nanny claiming it. I wasn't there. Let's go through these texts, shall we? Because the texts, if these weren't real, you'd think they would sue. But here are the texts. Honestly, these are from this is the nanny speaking to Jason. Nanny, I honestly feel like she was just here with us as a family. Then within a day, she moved on and with someone else and is a stranger. It's just so bizarre. Jason, that is what happened. And think how I feel after 9 years. Nanny, exactly. No healing time for anyone, just confusion, shock, and chaos with feelings. Hurt in the soul. Anyhow, enough of that. Hope you're having a fantastic day, Ted Lasso. Yes, that is one of my core issues, talking about the fact that there was no time for healing for him or the kids. You got to remember, there's kids involved here, and she's just sort of like, found somebody better. Bye. I'm not even going to do a transition period here. It's what I think is the most egregious about all of it. Affairs happen, you fall into love. None of my damn business. But when you got kids, you can't just go give the dog away, disappear, and go off with your boy toy. That's seemingly what happened. She's out there doing a full court press to say, well, that's not the case. But here we have the nanny who is probably there more with the kids. I kind of trust her opinion on this more. That's just me. Jason asks, you write her back? And the nanny says, I sent a heart, but I think I thought about it. I shouldn't have. It's BS that she can't wait to see us all. She hasn't asked once how I'm doing or the kids. I mean, who cares? No offense, nanny. You're the job. It's important. But yeah, it's more concerning. She hasn't asked about how are the kids doing. Anyway, I'm not one to be manipulative or fake. I just can't believe she's living this life with Harry and hasn't said a word about it to me. She's embarrassed and not living in the real world, and we are part of that real world. It's difficult for me to communicate with her because of her behavior, selfishness towards the kids, yourself and myself. I don't like that she thinks she can treat us all that way and act like nothing's wrong or discuss this. I am still shocked at her bizarre behavior. I got to say, it's just weird for a nanny to talk to her bosses this way, because at the end of the day, it's such a strange relationship. You're raising these people's kids, but you work for them. You're not their family. You are an employee who's there to like be a teacher and caregiver and supporter. And yes, you become part of the family. Don't get me wrong, but just to hear the way that she's talking to her boss, it's just strange. You got to be, celebrities got to always be more careful, and they aren't, about the relationship with their nannies. But then you got to let them in because they're taking care of your kids day to day. But yeah, it's just strange. She's never going to get another nanny gig ever. Now her job is done. She's toast for revealing all of this. Any effort or plan in advance to have service and no excuses to be on time for you or the kids. SMH. Always late and a mess. 9:15, she says, coming now. Sorry, Jason, she's a mess. She's not even working and it's Sunday. There's nothing really on her calendar. So here she is, not at work with Harry Styles, blowing off her time with her kids. But guys, remember, I didn't ever abandon them. I don't just abandon my kids. She wanted to make sure that got out there. I share custody. And, you know, it's hard to co-parent. People assume I have abandoned my kids, like my kids are just somewhere in a hot car without me. That suggestion is I have abandoned them as a mother. She doesn't see it with Olivia because she doesn't let them be photographed. Well, you let them be with this nanny who's calling you out. So which is it? Which is it? And here's the text messages to her speaking to Jason during this whole time saying you're out, not even working, and it's Sunday. Why weren't you with the kids during this monumental break? If this is true, this just makes her look awful. Awful. I know she's a mess, a deeply hurting mess, but also let's not use that text chain with the three of us for a while. Let her come to us, her family, and let's see what happens when she does. Is that okay with you? I think the only way to get her attention is to ignore her. So they're already sort of teaming up to sort of say, look, you did this. Jason's clearly siding with the nanny. The nanny's got to be careful of again, two bosses, both parents. And if they're going to divorce, you got to remember where you're going to go. You got to sort of be there for both and not get involved in the drama. And this nanny clearly couldn't do that. Yeah, you're right. We had to ask her to FaceTime. She didn't offer yesterday. She was selfish with the kids as well. You mean when she was in the car? Yes. Yeah, she doesn't want to be a mom right now. She just wants to wear the necklaces. Ouch. She doesn't want to be a mom right now, it seems. She just wants to be out and live it up, and I'm with the hottest celebrity in the world. He likes me, and he's younger than me. Woo, living it up. I don't need these dogs, these damn dogs holding me back from my time with my boy toy. Forget them. No, give them away. I got to go see my man and woo, and work when it's not even Sundays and not see my kids. Yeah, these two, man. I'm not a fan of either of them. I got to be honest. Harry Styles fans are going to be mad at me, but dude, come on, dude. What are you doing? Talk about selfish. You two deserve each other. You know this isn't going to last. At least that's my opinion. But what do you think of all this? Do you think this nanny is telling the truth? Do you think there's more to it? That's the latest. That's the bombshells dropping today Will there be a part 3? Who knows? But we will break it down for you. If you'd like to be alerted and you made it this far, please consider subscribing, hit that bell for all alerts, and smash that like button. They told me like not a lot of you subscribe. You watch and you don't subscribe or hit the alerts. You won't get notified. You don't get any of my videos unless you go and hit that bell. I know it's an annoying system, but do it for me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be live later to break down this and so much more news. I hope to see you there.